So in this video, I want to talk about the mindset that you need to use in your training if you're a good student of self-protection. Because a lot of self-defense schools, they're just training the techniques, right? But the missing component often is the mindset to deal with real aggression and violence. And I want to use a movie this time to show the way of thinking. The movie is called A Clockwork Orange. It comes from 1971. Stanley Kubrick is the director, and it follows along the story of Alex and his gang. And they kill and beat up and rape people. When the government lays hands on Alex, they want to brainwash him into a normal human being. And how they do this, they will use what they call in the movie a Ludovico technique. We would call it operant conditioning, or use the concept of Pavlovian conditioning. So what they do with him, because he's a violent individual, they tie him to a chair, they open his eyes with clamps, and they show videos that are violent and aggressive. And while they are doing this, they're injecting him with a substance that makes him very sick. When he wants to vomit, he feels nauseous and sick. So over time, when they repeat this process, they force him to look at the violent videos. In the beginning, he's liking it, but over time, because he's getting this substance injected, he becomes sick every time he sees violence. This way of operant conditioning, or Pavlovian conditioning, what they try to do is to get him away from violence. As soon as he sees, smells, hears violence, he starts to feel sick because his brain created neurological pathways. It's actually something that could work. Although what they forget is that they force this Ludovico technique on him. There is no free will. So first, you need to understand where the title comes from, A Clockwork Orange. So on the outside, it looks natural, like an orange. And on the inside, it is controlled like a machine, like a clockwork. That's why the title is Clockwork Orange, right? I'm going to use this concept, A Clockwork Orange. You can use it in your advantage from the perspective of a good student of self-protection. First, you need to understand that in the movie, this Alex is, in the end of the movie, still an aggressive psychopath. So the Ludovico technique didn't work. Why it didn't work was simple. They took away his free will. Why is his free will so important? The Ludovico technique removed Alex's ability to choose between right and wrong, making him a clockwork being who could no longer exercise free will. Without the ability to choose, Alex's humanity was diminished, and the goodness forced up him was shallow and unnatural. So basically, it only treated the symptoms of Alex's behavior without addressing the root causes, and it did it in a way that it violated his free will, making the cure both temporary and problematic. So before I explain how you can use this concept in your training, the concept of a clockwork orange, you need to understand that we are already a clockwork orange. The majority of people, the good people at least, they are conditioned to be nice all the time, to capitulate when they deal with violence. From child on, you are taught violence is a bad thing. You shouldn't show this, you shouldn't show aggression. So it is conditioned in us. So on the outside, we look natural, like the orange, but on the inside we're a controlled clockwork because we're conditioned not to show aggression, not to use violence, correct? If I can change this in my training, so maybe you can say, I'm going to use this Pavlovian conditioning in training, or how they call it, the Ludovico technique. Instead of me just hitting pads and going through the motion, I want to get into this aggressive state, understand that it's an act of sheer desperation. If I could avoid an escape, I would. But if I need to hit, I would hit with every aggression, every fiber in me that wants to eliminate threat. That's a conditioned response. If you do it over and over again, you will create a clockwork orange that can deal with real violence and aggression, because you become the aggressor, only the worst case scenario. So instead of Alex, who is getting sick when he sees violence because of the injection, I want you to understand that if you can control aggression, and you have to deal with aggression in the first place and try to de-escalate, if you see this not possible, I want you to switch on that switch without being sick. Now you can say, yeah, but it didn't work with Alex because it was only superficial. His goodness was superficial, I have to say, or shallow. But I would say, who cares if my evil, if I need to attack or fight, is shallow and superficial? I want it to be like this. It has to be real, but I don't want it to take me over. It's not me, just my switched on aggressive individual, eliminating threat, go back to the kind person I am. But I want to do this from free will. And that free will should be based on, I want to come home to my loved ones, not because I want to hurt you, because I want your wallet, or I want to intimidate you. No, if I need to deal with aggressive subjects or an aggressive subject, I try to de-escalate as much as I can. But if I know it's not possible, I now want to become a very aggressive animal out of free will. If you do this over and over again in good scenario training, simulation training, and even when you hit the pads, it becomes an Ludovico technique, or how you call it, an operant condition thing, that as soon as you deal with violence, it comes out automatically, but out of free will. Only then it will work. Over time, you will see if you hit every pad with that aggression, if you fight every simulation with that aggression, it becomes part of you. So yes, it's still superficial, it's still shallow, but it should be fueled by the drive to come home safe. So I'm asking you, if you are training self-defense, do you train realistic? Or do you think that aggression and all that role play is really uncomfortable and I want to get away from it? You're not training your brain. So do you want to train for real, or you just want to go through the motions? Because I have sometimes discussions and people say, yeah, but we have to start somewhere. I agree, it's not nice kind of training all the time, because it's a lot of stepping out of your comfort zone. A lot of people have some trauma to deal with first, but you have to understand that over time, you want to become a clockwork orange that is conditioned to eliminate threat with cold clinical aggression on, off. And it's all driven from free will, the free will to come home safe to your loved ones. Yes. So think about it. Do I really condition my brain the way I should condition it if I want to deal with real violence and aggression?